Hey guys, welcome to Sippin' and Spillin' with Sid from 3 Mississippi. How are y'all doing today? I hope you're having a good start to your week and adjusting back to not being on holiday. I know sometimes that adjustment's hard, like hard to get back in the swing of things and hard for the kids to go back to school and all of that. I'm still waiting for the garbage to come. we we figured, usually the garbage gets picked up a day late, and right now we're under a burn ban. So, I have my burn pile out there, but we can't burn anything right now. And so all of our regular trash is, you know, in the trash can. It gets picked up once a week, and our normal day is Thursday. But obviously that was Thanksgiving, so we figured, as did the rest of the neighborhood, as it were, that it would be on Friday. And so we all put our cans out on, Thanksgiving evening or Friday morning, and garbage truck never came. And so we're kind of waiting to see if they just skipped the whole week, if they came Wednesday and didn't tell a single soul. Because I did see a garbage truck scoot through the whole neighborhood on Wednesday when I was doing stuff out here. But they didn't even slow down. I mean, they were booking it through because nobody had their cans out. So we'll see. Brinky's going to be really upset if she has to drag it back and forth and it didn't get emptied. So we'll see if they empty it today. But Frankie's got, I got to pick her up from school later because she's got her FFA meeting, and she gets to ride. She's excited. She gets to ride in the Christmas parade this year that the town does with the FFA, because she's such an important officer now, since she's the president for her grade, for the middle school chapter, that she gets to ride on that float. Because last year she rode on our church's float, but this year she gets to ride on that float. So she's kind of excited about that, because it's kind of a big deal since she's president and everything. She's looking forward to it. But I think part of her is also like, oh, I won't get to ride with all my friends from church. She still gets to work on the float and stuff, but she has to kind of figure that out. And she's actually building a piece. So yesterday, I'll give you the backstory. Yesterday, we were decorating our church for Christmas. And my friend Beth and I were working on the Jesse tree. I had never heard of, but it's a special tree that has like embroidered little pillows from like each major story from the Bible. So it's kind of neat, but I'd never heard of it before. Anyway, we were putting that tree together, and we found a tree in one of the storage rooms that they said, use that one for the Jesse tree. Because we're putting up more decorations than we normally do. Our new pastor and his wife are like, let's go all out. Let's decorate the Family Life Center too, because we spend more time in there during the holiday season with all the parties and get-togethers and all that. Anyway, so we were putting this extra tree up where they have like their Bible study and where they do breakfast before service. And the stand for it was, one of the screws in it was broken. And so I tried to fix it as best I could, but it was broke. And I also don't think it was the stand that went with that tree, because it didn't fit right. Like, it wasn't happy. And so no matter what I did, the tree was just falling out of the stand. And so we found another stand buried back in the closet, and we tried that. And this one was broken, but just in a different way. Wouldn't hold the tree for anything. Again, just would list right over to the side and fall. So I look at Beth and I go, let's just go to Walmart. It'll take us 5 minutes. Let's just go to Walmart and buy a new tree stand. So we get there, and you can't buy just an artificial tree stand. You have to buy like a whole new artificial tree. They only had live tree stands, and that was definitely not going to fit. So I was like, look, we can get a 6-foot tree here for $25. It's worth it. Let's just buy the tree and go back to church, assemble it, string some lights on it, get it decorated, and move on to the next thing, because there was garlands that needed hung and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, so we're starting on that whole task, and get the tree, get it back. get it assembled. And she's trying to unstring the lights off of this tattered tree that's been in storage that hasn't been used for years, and getting really frustrated. And I said, look, I go, only one of those strings of lights kind of works, and it is beyond tangled on this tree. Like, you're not getting it off at all. I said, let me go see if I can find another strand of lights somewhere in, because they had a bunch of extra totes in the sanctuary when they were decorating. So I ran up stairs in there and I was like, is there an extra strand of lights that I can steal? And there was. So I grabbed it, wrapped that up on the tree. We were good to go. Got it decorated. It's definitely a very sparse looking tree. It's not a very full for $25. It's like, it looks like a little Charlie Brown tree, but it's in a small space. So we kind of figured it was okay. So we're like, let's just chunk this whole tree because it's falling apart. The things don't fit together. There's no stand for it. Well, the float that the kids build and ride during the parade, they were going to put a tree on. So we went into, they were working on it in the gym. We went in there and we said, you know, to the youth director, we were like, hey, we ended up not using the tree. The base is, but if you want to like somehow tie it to the side of the float, because you know it's just a flatbed trailer that they decorate. If you want to somehow tie it to the side of the rail and have it popped up and decorated, I mean, you could probably make that work. And Frankie goes, I'll fix it. I'll take it home and I'll build a stand for it. And I was like, okay. So anyway, so it's in the back of my truck. And she said she's going to build a stand for it tonight when she gets home, out of whatever materials we have around here. And she's going to try to figure it out. Mike is prepared to assist if need be. But she was all excited about building this stand for the tree, for the float that she's not even going to ride on, but she was excited about it. She's like, I'll build something. And everybody was like, okay, go for it. So it was nice. So we'll see if she's able to do that this evening when she gets home. It's gonna be dark by the time she gets home, but we'll see. You know, they're not going deer hunting tonight because she's gonna be getting home so late. I know they're going deer hunting tomorrow, and so I guess, and then she has to have it back by Wednesday because they're gonna be working on the float. So she's got to get it done tonight because she won't have time to work on it Wednesday. So she really has to figure it out tonight. Hopefully we have, I mean, between all the scrap stuff we have and her being pretty good at putting stuff together like that, I imagine she can rig something that it'll work. But we shall see. So you have to stay tuned for that, I suppose. But we had a nice kind of holiday weekend, pretty low key. My back is doing much better. For you guys that have been sending your healing thoughts and loves and prayers, I appreciate you. It is much better. It's still I would say right now it's more just sore, but it's not like constant stabbing pain. So I consider that a win. I was able to work out a little bit today. I did a very like easy one because I, more like stretching, and I did walk on the treadmill today, but I did not run because I felt like running was probably not a great idea right out of the gate, because I have been very, kind of incapacitated for the last almost week. So, and the older you get, sometimes it takes you longer to kind of get back into the swing of things when you take a break like that. So, but I am doing much better. I feel much better. I think I still didn't sleep real great last night, but I think I did a lot of stretches today, and I think hopefully I will have a better night's sleep tonight. And I say this every night, but I'm going to try to get to bed early. So it's a beautiful fall day. It's chilly out today. It finally warmed up. It's now 50 degrees. It was 30 when I got up, and actually got outside later than normal. And it looked like it had snowed. It was so much thick frost. Everything was kind of frozen. I love it. It's beautiful when the whole pasture is kind of frozen over. It looks beautiful. None of the waters froze or anything like that, but the areas in the shady part of the pasture were just glistening with frost. It was really kind of pretty. Um, but I love watching the seasons change here. It's pretty. I probably partway through winter, I'll be like, I'm ready to see the sun again when we've had, 10 straight days of rain. Um, but it doesn't last that long before it starts to kind of ease back out of it and get nice again. We had so little rain in the last several months that it was, dare I say, it almost felt like California in that sense, because we don't get, we never got much rain there. Once a year you get like one really good storm and everything floods, and um, and then it might sprinkle a few times in between, but you don't get a lot of like big storms. We would get some thunderstorms because we were up in the mountains, but a lot of times that was not a lot of moisture that came with it. It was more just noisy. But here, you get some deluges where you'll get 5 or 6 inches, but the terrain here can handle it much better because of the way it rains here. But the last few months has been pretty dry. Not a lot of rain this summer, not a lot of summer storms. Haven't had we did have a good rain the other day, but it was pretty short. I think we only got about an inch. But it was nice. It was something. So, I know that we are expected to get some more rain towards the end of this week. So we'll see what those storms end up looking like. But it's definitely the last couple of days, it kind of eased us into the nip in the air, like that little winter nip that you're starting to feel. It's definitely here. It's definitely starting to make itself known. I have the heater inside set at like 65, so if it gets colder than that, it'll kick on. Because then you start to get to the point where you can start to see your breath in the house, and that's not good. So I did notice that it kicked on a lot last night, and then when I got up and had just hit 30 degrees outside, I was like, oh, that explains why the heater was on so much last night. It was cold last night, so it must have gotten into the high 20s. So winter is coming. It's coming. I'm a little nervous for it just because it does limit some of the things that we can do around here, and it does make morning chores. I fall a lot. I do. I fall down a lot. Even with my good muck boots on, I slip, trying not to trip on birds or animals. I slip in the mud. That's one of my gifts. And so, when it's pouring rain and you're having to go out there and feed animals and wait for hoses to defrost, and you're breaking up waters and water troughs and stuff. It's not the best. It's not the most fun, but I don't know. It's not horrible either, because it doesn't last very long. But the flip side of that is in August, you walk outside at 6:37 in the morning and you're already soaking wet because you're dripping with sweat by the time you finish feeding everybody. So it's either you're soaking wet because of the rain, or you're soaking wet because it's humid and hot and it's already 95 degrees at 7 a.m. So I guess it just depends on your outlook, really. But again, it's short-lived. Like, you're really only talking a couple of months where the weather is really, really hot, and a couple of months where it's really, really cold and wet and rainy. And the rest of the time, it's really nice. Fall going into winter is very mellow weather and very nice out. And spring going into the early part of summer is very mellow weather, just a little warmer than it is in the fall. But I would say for a good 7-8 months out of the year, we have fairly decent weather. I would say that's not too bad. You only have a few months of but I like that because I like the weather changes, and I like that I like all that. I do. I mean, of course, everybody could do without the severe weather, but you know, there's trade-offs to everything, I guess. But I'll take them. I'm not mad at it. Um, I got most of my Christmas stuff is done. I've done all my decorating that I'm going to do, and I've done all um, my shopping, I guess. I think I only have like one thing left to do for that, but I think I have everything else done and covered uh, for all the people on my Christmas list. So that's kind of a, you know, I think I have one or two more things, to be honest. I think I have two, technically two. But for the most part, it's done. Which I didn't even wait. Only, I mean, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all of that. And I do try to buy some things local. We have a few local shops in town, and I did buy some things there. Um, but there's, certain things that you know, you can't always buy the things right in town because everybody would end up with the same stuff every year. So I did try to hit a few of the sales and buy a few cool things that I saw that I'm like, oh, this would be really great for Frankie or whatever. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully everybody likes their stuff. I think it's gonna be kind of a mellow Christmas this year. Nothing crazy, and I'm looking forward to, you know, we're working on that big meetup for um, oh, something's getting delivered right now. Working on that big meetup for May in Arkansas. So we'll see. Um, we're not working on it, but they're working on it. We're gonna, I think Mel and all of them kind of want to pick everybody's brains about it a little bit. So I think we're gonna have a little chat about it, but nothing crazy. Um, but that's the next big meetup that we're kind of excited to get to see everybody. I'm sure we'll see some people in between then. But anyway, I gotta go before the delivery guy thinks I'm crazy. So anyway, guys, have a blessed week and safety's off.